What do you do when you are dependent on something and you can't get rid of it? What do you do to help someone who has a dependency on either cigarettes, smoking, or alcohol, or other things? I would like in this presentation or this interview to share you the experience of my older brother, Remi. Good to see you, bro. I'm glad we can record it. We tried to record it a few times, your experience, but we had problems. Hopefully this one is going to go. Hopefully this one is going to
Yes,
work. Okay,
yes. Well, good
so
to see you too.
where are you now? I'm in Romania, so where are you?
I'm in Prince George, Canada,
Prince George,
quite far
Canada.
away on the other side of the world from Romania.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So we have this interview to record your experience of how God gave you victory over one of the problems which has affected you most of your life. What was that problem and when did it start?
Well, one of the problems was I was battling with was smoking. Actually, I like to smoke, but I was battling it because I didn't like some effects that the smoke was giving me, like coughing, smelling, bad taste, stuff like that. So, but I started to smoke very long time ago, many years ago. First time I had a cigarette in my mouth, I was 5 years old. That because some of the friends or the man that was taking care of me in the village that I was growing up to, in my grandparents' place, they thought it's funny to see a small kid and 5 years old to have a cigarette in their mouth because they were smoking. So that was the first time I had a cigarette, but I started to smoke when I was about 8 years old, grade one. So
Yeah, so that was a long time ago. I know because of your smoking, I was influenced as well, and I remember starting somewhere young also to smoke, but it was something kids did at that time, especially in a town like Oradea. And what made you start smoking? Beside that, it's cool, it's funny, kind of a thing to make a fun of a kid. But why do you think you started? I mean, at that time, at that age, I don't think we realize it. But why do you think now, looking back, that you started to smoke?
well, I started to smoke because I wanted to gain friends. And which way to gain friends? Friends. I mean, which is the best way in gaining friends than not giving them what they want? And what they wanted was cigarettes. And what I'm talking about is friends, what they were like 5 years old, older than me. And I needed friends older than me because in the neighborhood we were always having fights and squandrels or soccer games or whatever. But I needed older friends so they can protect me from when I needed it.
Yeah.
And I wanted friends. And with smokes, especially in Romania at that time, the cigarettes didn't have filters. And because our mom owned the an ABC store there, neighborhood store, she had all this stuff in there, cigarettes, food, whatever. And I was stealing from the store to give them, and I used to steal cigarettes, the expensive ones, and the ones that they couldn't buy them because it was expensive. It was like more and other stuff with filters and skinny ones and long ones and good looking ones. They were better looking and tasting than the ones with no filters. So that's why I started to smoke, is to gain friends at first. And then after that, it just became a habit, so to speak. After a while, after a few years, it became a habit. I smoked more and more and more. And it was also a name that we were making, sort of an ID, and how can I say? It's an identification of who I am. I'm at par, or I'm the same like everyone else. I'm the cool kid on the block. Smoking
Mhm.
because you're smoking. So because we were smoking, we had something in common to do together, right? So yeah, that's how it became. And then it was a habit. And then by the time I got to be into my 14s, 15s, I was already hooked on it, so to say. I did not realize it, but I was hooked on it. I tried to get rid of it because I was playing soccer in Jimbolia and Timișoara when we were there. But I didn't think I was hooked on it because, well, if I want to quit right now, I can do it, not to smoke. But I wasn't. I don't think I realized that I was able to because I was playing soccer and that hindered me not to. Like, it was hard to run. It was hard to perform the same like the other people that did not perform. That
Yeah, they
like the
did
other
not smoke.
kids that did not smoke, right? So I saw the effects of the smoking, so to say, but I did not realize it, and I thought I can quit anytime. And then we came to Canada, and that's when I realized that I can't quit smoking. It was hard.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what helped you in Canada to see that you can't? What situation?
So in Canada, what helped me to see that I can't, it was that when I moved here, I went to look for a soccer team to play for. That was Surrey United, and because I was smoking, I felt the repercussions of it. I couldn't run, and I tried to quit smoking, and I couldn't. So then what happened is I quit soccer. And when I found work and I quit soccer, and that was it. I'm like, I can't do this because I can't quit it. I like it. And then it was not that I liked it. I had to choose between soccer. I had to decide between soccer and smoking. And I decided to go for smoking because anyway, soccer is not paid. I need money to do this and do that. And so I gave up soccer for cigarettes basically. And yeah, that was it.
That's when you realized that you couldn't give it up because you really like soccer. I mean, you played in Jimbolia, and that was for a really good team, and you were good at it, and you liked it. And now you were faced with this. Okay, what do I hold on to, the soccer or the smoking? But you had to give up the soccer because you couldn't give up the smoking. So yeah, that's so that helped you to see more the problem that you had.
Yeah, it helped me to see that wasn't a while it was a this is what I saw now because then I didn't see it. I liked smoking, that's why I chose the smoking. So because I couldn't give it up, I said, okay, well, I'll choose it anyways, and I like it. It wasn't something that I said, oh, it's damaging me. Even though I saw the effects of it, I did not understand it. I couldn't understand it because if I would have understand it, I would have played soccer and not smoke, right? But I didn't see it, so then I say, yeah, and I just chose to smoke. So that was it. That was it.
So that made you even led you even deeper into this path of smoking. So it made you probably not be able to give it up even more. Were you after that able to give it up for a while?
I tried at one point. I gave it up for 1 year. It was the most I gave it up, but that was the circumstances. It was I kind of had to. I was forced to, but at the same time, I decided not to smoke on that period. But I was forced into that. But it was 1 year, and after 1 year, I smoked again, and then I gave it up another 2 times, probably like 3 months, and then 2 months, and then the last time I tried to quit was about 5 years ago, I think. 3 years, about 3, 4 years ago, for about 3 months. It was horrible. It was incredible. Like, I was so jittery, so I couldn't talk to people. If somebody would say something, I would have jumped right away and say, "Hey, what?" I was so annoyed by everything because everything I was doing something. How can I say? I think I was upset because I was leaving something that I like to do, but I knew that I have to do it because I was suffering. I was coughing every morning so bad that I couldn't breathe. And when I had a conversation with somebody, I had to chew on a gum or something so I can talk because I was coughing more than talking.
Mhm.
But if I had a gum in my mouth or something, so it kept my brain away from thinking that, I think, or something, I wasn't coughing as much. It would have not bothering me because I wasn't concentrating on what was bothering in my chest. So I think that's why I was so frustrated, and because I knew that I knew that it's hard, and at the same time, I knew that I had to give it up so I can breathe. So it was interesting, but I was basically fighting with myself to give it up, and it was incredibly hard. It was impossible. That's why I went back to it. I'm like, you know what? Forget about it. I'll smoke until I die. I accepted that. I accepted
Mhm.
that because I can't give it up. Although I hated everything about it at one point. The smelling, I was going to a meeting and I was the only one that smoked. And I went into the meeting and it was disgusting. And I was smelling myself and it was disgusting. But I had to smoke. By no choice, I had to smoke. So I was depending on it. So it was interesting, very interesting. Very
Yeah, so
interesting.
that was interesting. I know when I was there in 2018, I know you had the coughing all the time, and you also had a bigger problem with the coughing. At one point, it turned into, you said there was something with blood, right?
Yeah, the coughing did not turn with blood for me, but what it did is I was spitting every day was black, like the tar or whatever it was inside. I had to clean up. So I was waking up in the morning, and it took me about an hour and a half to 2 hours sometimes to clear the tracheas to clean the airways.
Mhm.
And my wife used to scream at me, "Hey, be quiet! You're waking up the kids or whatnot." So it was so bad that it was so hard to breathe. It was so bad. It was incredible. And when I gave up smoking, um, I was in the process of clearing the tracheas, the airways with coffees and smoking and coffee and smoking at the same time without realizing. And I'll just get to that on how I quit. I never quit smoking. I just did
Yeah,
not need to smoke anymore.
yeah, that's
So
awesome. Yeah. Because if you fight, I think this is what you proved, and what others prove is that when we fight the vice itself, the dependency itself, we never can win, because we develop, maybe we if we give up smoking, we will develop another vice or dependency. But I think this just shows us that we are dependent on it. That's why we cannot give it up, because it's like if you would hold your breath, right? You can't live without it. I mean, your whole body, your whole mind, your everything reacts, that you need that. So what happened? That was a very good way that you presented it, that you didn't give it up. You didn't need it anymore, and that was awesome. So what happened there?
yeah, so that was the first time that I did not quit. When I gave up smoking, not give up, I did not need to smoke anymore. So why I did not to smoke anymore? Because when the difference between these two, it's when I quit, like you said, you if you're really strong enough and you can do it, like if you're a strong person to to be able to force yourself not to smoke, you'll gain another dependency. You're gonna suck on lollipops or whatever it's gonna be, food, or all of a sudden a lot of people that quit smoking, they're strong enough to do that. All of a sudden they gain weight because now they eat more. And they say, well, I don't want to give up smoking because I'm going to gain 100 kilograms on top of what I have. So that's another automatic dependency that we get, showing exactly what you said, that we still depend on it. The only difference is like we don't have the smoke in our mouth puffing on it, but we're still smoking without puffing on it. We're still smoking because I don't want to give up. I just want not to smoke. I mean, I just want not to cough, and I just want not to stink, but I still want to smoke. You see, and because of that, I never quit it. I just not having it in my mouth and puffing, but I'm still smoking. So this time when I did not need to smoke anymore, what happened was incredible. And what I mean by incredible is like God got me to a point where he showed me what I need. Here is where I thought that I need smoking to not stress. So I said, and with work and everything, I was so stressed and that I needed smoke because that's what we think, that I smoke, it takes off the stressing. You see? Or if I have an argument with somebody, I'm gonna go and stress so I'm gonna go and smoke so I can de-stress. But when God showed me exactly who I am, and when I was able to see myself and the state that I was in, and why I was suffering and what I needed him to change my heart. But I needed to see the state of my heart. What was it in the first place? Because this is what happened to me. At that point, I did not want to quit smoking anymore. So what happened was I had to go pick up my family from Vancouver. And from Prince George to Vancouver, it's about 9 hours, 7 hour to 9 hour drive. And I was driving the truck. And when I left Prince George, I had an empty ashtray and full coffee. And on a 2.5 hour trip to Williamsburg, when I got there, my ashtray was full. It was so full that was like I didn't have where to turn out the butts anymore. So it was coming out of the ashtray. The ashtray is like a cup with a hole in it. And I had to stop in Williamsburg to get another coffee so I can wet the airways, so to speak, because I was coughing so much. And I was having a sip of coffee and a smoke, a sip of coffee and a smoke because I was so stressed. And I did not realize, but when I got to Williamsburg, full. And that's when I realized how much I smoked. I smoked around 1.5 to 2 packs somewhere because I had a cartridge in the truck. So I have enough cigarettes just in case the pack is finishing. I have more access to more. And when I stopped in Williams Lake, I got out to clean the ashtray and get another coffee. And when I cleaned that ashtray, I looked in that ashtray and I said, man, if I were God, if I were Christ, would I want to live in there? It was incredible what was in the ashtray. Just that thought, it what came to my mind. Okay. And I was like, man, this is incredible. And then I said, you know what? One day I should quit smoking. And when that day is gonna come, God will know it. This is what he went to my my mind. And then I went in the truck and I put the smokes onto the dashboard. And that's when I realized how weak I am. I realized that I'm so weak, I can't even quit smoking. And it was incredible. And this is where I learned that I'm who I am. I mean, that's why I say I thank God that I was smoking. Because if I was not smoking, God would have not been able to show me. I would have not been able to see how weak I am and how can I say, how small I am by myself. I can't do nothing. I can't even quit smoking. How can I think that I can wake up in the morning? Or how can I think I can create something or do something, or if I can't even quit smoking, a small thing like that has to do with will, you see. And then on the road from there, from Williams Lake to Vancouver, I don't know how I was able to drive the truck, but I was crying out loud. And that was the first time in my life when I really understood and realized that I needed help. And the only prayer that I prayed from Williamsburg to Vancouver was, God, I'm gonna grab you by the foot, and I never want to let you go. I just pray that you won't let go of me. And that was the over and over and over and over. That's what I was, the only thing that was
Amen.
in my mind. And on the road, I was crying so much. I was like, I couldn't stop crying. And I was just looking around me and I saw everything that God created. I saw every cow that I saw on the road, every deer, every single thing, all of the sudden, everything came alive. You see the trees. Oh, there's trees around. Wow, there's trees around. I always saw them before, but I never realized that they were there. I never realized the beauty and the creation that God created until I saw how dark my heart was. I never saw the beauty what was around us, because that was the first time when I realized that everything I ever touched in my life was destroyed. Although I thought it was good, but that was the first time I realized that I took something that was good, perfect already, and I wanted to make it even more perfect than it was done. So it was amazing. It was just phenomenal. And then I didn't care anymore about quitting smoking. I didn't care about anymore about quitting this or quitting that. All I wanted to do is not have this heart in me anymore, because I kept thinking to see if I see one thing that I have done good in my life, one thing, just one, and I couldn't find one on the whole time and days after that, and probably weeks after that. I couldn't find one thing that I have done good in my life. By that, what I'm trying to say is that I've done it clean and I've done it for
Without
someone else rather than
selfishness.
myself.
Yeah,
Yes,
without.
that I have done it for someone else and not for myself. Not one thing I couldn't find out. And it was incredible. It was incredible. And that's when I saw I did not want that heart anymore. I did not want myself anymore. And that's when the change happened. But you know what? I got to Vancouver. I went to sleep. I got to Vancouver and I got out of the truck and I realized I had a cigarette in my mouth. And I probably took like 2 puffs of it and I turned it off and that was it. I woke up in the morning. Since then, I haven't coughed once. Not
That's
once.
awesome.
I
That's
haven't coughed
really
since
awesome.
then. You see? And I woke up. I pick up my wife and the kids, and she realized that I'm not smoking. And I don't care if people smoke beside me. People should smoke until there is no more lungs to smoke out of. And I feel like I never smoked in my life. That's how I feel like, and not for once. Not I didn't have not one thought. Well, Chibin, how nice would it be to have a cigarette right now? Or that looks so good when somebody smokes. Because this was the experience I had before. If I quit smoking and I saw somebody smoking beside me, I felt that urge to smoke because I was smoking still, but I just didn't have a cigarette in my mouth. I was just forcing myself. And maybe I can force someone, maybe can force themselves for few months, few weeks, a year, 2 years, few years, but they're still addicted to it. They're just not doing it, right? So that's the difference. But when God changed that, when God started to fulfill that void, that emptiness, because after that, I understood why I was smoking. Smoking is the effect, but why was I smoking is what's important. What was I trying to fulfill by myself by trying to depend on the cigarette to fulfill it? And when God fulfilled that void, when God made me realize that I need Him is what I needed for Him to fulfill the void, the emptiness that I had in my heart, but looking to the wrong source to fulfill it.
Thinking that we
And
can do it,
sorry.
thinking that we can give it up is what makes me
Yes.
unable to give it up. But God has to let
Yes.
me. I mean, God is so
Yes.
good. As you said, if I have to smoke until there's no more lungs to smoke. Why? Because only then will I realize that I can't and that I need someone else. I need some other power outside of myself to change me, because I can't do it. And as you said, everything that I
Yes.
touch, I do evil. But, smoking becomes a need because there is something in us which is corrupt and will only tend toward corrupt things. And
Yes.
that's why only God can clean the inside, which I can't.
Yes. And only God can do it if we accept. If we accept and make the decision, because I think we all get to one point where we see the truth, and it says the truth will never be mine. The truth will be external of me. It will be a third party of me. It will show me who I am. And it says, the truth says, Remi, you think you're good, but you are actually bad. And when I see that, when I see the truth and I see that, okay, truth says that I'm bad, what am I gonna do with it? Am I gonna accept that? Can I see that what I do is bad? And if I see it, am I gonna accept it? Because if I don't accept the truth, then God will leave me to my mind that it's so corrupted. It will leave me and I say, okay, if you cannot accept it, it doesn't matter if Moses will come from the dead, if Elijah will come from the dead, you'll never realize it. That's what God told the Lazarus, the not Lazarus, the rich man from the Lazarus story, the Lazarus story, because the rich man told Lazarus, or Abraham was talking to Abraham, and he said, send somebody from the dead to my brothers and to my family to tell them that what they're doing is bad. And he says, even if the dead would wake up and go and show to them, they still won't believe it. They have Moses and the law. And if they don't understand that, nothing will be able to make them understand, because the truth is in front of us when it's given us to see it. But what do we do with it? Because if it's there and I cannot accept it because I like the state that I am in, whatever I'm doing, I like the wishes, I like the desires that I have. I like to feel good, as we say, and if we decide, if we cannot see that what we're doing, we're not doing by a choice that we make, and what we're doing is not good, but is bad, then there is no, I don't believe there is any change that can happen. It can't.
Yeah.
Because if I smoke right now, I smoke because it's good for me. I'm not smoking because it's bad for me. I cannot see that. I only see the effects. But if I can put a perfume because I'm smoke, because I stink, then I get rid of the symptom, the effect, then it's okay. Or if I wash my teeth before I kiss my wife, then I get rid of the effect of bad smell, then I can keep smoking. So that's why we can see it.
Yeah. And
because we like smoking.
Yeah. You also said that you came to hate it and to want to give it up. You came to see that you can't. But why? Because when we try to give up ourselves, and when we try with our own power to do it, it's the same deception.
Yes.
It's the same thing, that thinking that I can do something. But what can I do in life? Can I breathe? Well, you might say, I mean, who is breathing? But there is no power inherent in me to breathe. There's no power inherent in me to keep me alive. So as long as I think that I can do something, I'm just falling for that deception. And therefore, I am dependent on the things which deceive me to think that I can do something. But God teaches us and shows us that we are dependent on Him for air, for life, for food, for everything. And the deception which makes me think that I'm not is the one that leads me into all of these dependencies, because I refuse Him. And then I was created to be dependent just by the fact that I'm dependent on breathing. You know, someone said that he wants to be God and not be dependent on God, and I told him, okay, hold your breath, you know, hold your breath, and then you don't need God. But we
Then you're
need God.
independent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once I don't need air, then I'm independent, right? But just this deception that I can do it makes me dependent on things because I refuse to be dependent on Him. So it's awesome how God helped you to see your dependency on God. And that's why you said, Lord, I will grab you by the foot and I'll hold on to you. I am dependent on you. Just don't let me go. You know, and I
Yes.
think that was so beautiful because that's where the victory was. That's where God
That
could
was
change
it.
the heart, right? Yeah, and
That was it.
that was just awesome because so many people fight with the dependency, which is a fruit, an effect of the root, which is the deceitful heart, our nature with which we are born and which we cannot change, cannot overcome. Only God can change once we realize that we are truly dependent on Him, as we are for air, right? So I'm
Yeah.
really glad for your experience. So you haven't been smoking since then. How was your? You said you didn't have any more coughing.
Oh,
So
that
that
was yeah. That was one dependency between many that I had, and they all went away like that, because I did not want to deal with the symptoms, with the effects anymore. I I wanted, like David said in Psalm 51, I believe, give me a new heart, because I realized
Amen.
that the heart that I had was 100% dirty. You know, I used to think before that uh, today I don't love you that much, but I love you. I just love you 60% today. I just like you 60% today. That's the illusion. That's the lie that the devil it's instilled in us, in the sinful nature that we have. We either love or we hate. 100%, one or the other. We cannot, do just 50% here, 60% there, whatever it is. You see, because if we think that, then that means I can love, just not as much. And when I realized that actually I did not love, not one bit, because for me, loving someone is to love 100% and not without expecting anything back, right? I love you because I'm taking it from somewhere first. And when I'm giving it to you, it's like that. It's untouched, it's pure, it's how it's supposed to be, without you owing me nothing, because I'm not the one giving it to you. I'm just sharing it with you.
So there's no
And it was
selfishness.
no, no.
There's
I
no
mean,
selfishness when you take it from somewhere else and you don't want something back.
no,
But selfishness is when you give, waiting something
from
back.
you, right? When I think I'm giving something, I I'm still giving it from God. However, I think I'm giving it from me because I expect something in return back. But by myself, I cannot do nothing. I cannot wake up. I cannot breathe. I cannot have, these the air tract, the whole air, all the organs that I need to breathe with, your lungs, your tracheas, everything else. They need to be functioning 100%, or they need to be functioning to be able to breathe. So how can I ever think that I can give something to someone from me? I cannot even, like you said, breathe by myself. I can't, because I need the oxygen, and the air to be able to breathe, and I need good lungs to be able to take it in. The lungs don't create nothing. They just use what is ready to use. So yes, that's the dependencies. When we wanted to be independent, doing by ourselves, to quit smoking. But when I stopped quitting smoking and I just wanted God to change my heart so it's not dirty anymore, I made the exchange at the cross when I said, Christ, I don't want me anymore, because I couldn't find one good thing in me that I have done, although I thought that all my life. But now I see, and I don't want it. Here it is. Here it is. I don't want it. And I want what you have. I want you to live in me. I want to live by you every day. I want to know you. I want to walk like you. I want to talk it, because I see that who you are, it's incredible. That was the exchange that I've done there. So I wanted the new creation to be happening. And it was amazing. It was phenomenal. And that's how I did not quit smoking. I did not need to smoke anymore, because what Christ gave me was incredible. So that was what Christ fulfilled in me. It made me full. Many things to learn, and I learn many things every day. But I thank God for giving me the truth and for opening my eyes to see. And I thank God for giving me the strength to be able to make that decision, to accept it, and giving me the power to be able to start living like it, because it's incredible. If he doesn't give me the power, I'm nothing. If I don't have his strength, I'm nothing. If I don't have his love, I cannot live, breathe, nothing. Because this is what I was looking for. But he had to show me somehow. And I thank God for smoking. Because if I was not smoking, I would have not been able to see, like you said, that I needed an external power. I needed him to intervene and to do the happening. So,
and this was my
yeah.
experience, and maybe I'll share it another time, or maybe we can share other things too. But it's awesome how Jesus was trying to say this to the Jews during his day. In John chapter 8, he says, if you continue in my word, and then you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. But they were like, wait, we were never slaves. And Jesus told them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whoever commits sin is the servant of sin. And then he says, if the Son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. So
Amen.
Instead of us, even Christians and non-Christians, instead of fighting with the sin, with the fruits of what our heart produces, we should go to the Son, to Jesus Christ. He is the only one that can truly change our hearts and fulfill our needs, which the dependency just shows that we have. So I'm really glad for your experience, and I hope it's going to be of use to many of those that listen to us. And may God bless us all, and turn to God, who is the one alone who can fulfill all of our needs, because he's our creator, and a created being is dependent on its creator. So may we all find our needs in him. God bless you, brother, and keep strong in God, and may we grow to know our dependency on him and get fulfilled only from him, so that we may give to others what he has given us.
Amen.